Welcome, everybody, to the Jared Barnes Show. I am your host, Jared Barnes. Alongside with me, I got the boys in studio today. Tyler to my left, Nate directly in front of me, Mike is here. Show's going to look a little different today. We're not going to go at the headlines first. We're going to bounce around the NFL first. And I'm going to start with my team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They lost to the Patriots this last Sunday in an extremely disappointing loss. The offense is the same as it was last year. It's terrible to watch. Everybody said last year that Ben Roethlisberger was the problem. Ben just couldn't throw the ball downfield, which is why we weren't throwing the ball across the middle, because he didn't have the arm strength to test anybody across the middle. And turns out Matt Canada just has no idea how to call any plays. Matt Canada has an offense designed to beat Boston College, and that's about it. He does not have an offense designed to beat an NFL squad. He's proved it 2 weeks in a row. He proved it for an entire season prior to this. It's painful to watch. We do not throw the ball over the middle. And every team currently that is successful in the NFL will cross receivers across the middle. They actually use all 53 and a half yards of the field, the width of the field. And the Steelers do not do that. And I'm absolutely tired of seeing it. I don't think Matt Canada should have a job as an offensive coordinator after this season in the NFL if this continues. And my next question for the Steelers is, how much longer can Mitchell Trubisky actually run this offense? George Pickens said that 90% of the time he feels like he's open, and he's been targeted maybe 5 times. It's ridiculous. Pickens has the potential as a rookie to be one of our best receivers. Now, while currently Deontay is the number one option, we have Claypool, we have other guys. But, we need to get the ball to Pickens. He's an absolute menace. What he does in the run game is awesome. He showed it all preseason. Why can't we just get the guy the ball? And then we transitioned to the defensive side of the football, and it was very obvious. The absence of TJ Watt, you could just tell by watching the team. We failed to rush the passer. We couldn't stop the run. We went against an offense. Their play caller is Matt Patricia, a guy who could barely win a game in Detroit and completely destroyed the culture after Caldwell was there. And Joe Judge, a guy that completely set the New York Giants back years. Luckily, the New York Giants found a guy in Brian Daboll. But Joe Judge, if Brian Daboll doesn't come in there, the Giants are set back for 5-10 years. And we couldn't stop that offense coached by those two idiots. They're smart, but they were both head coaches, so I'll give them that. They're NFL head coaches, but they're not guys you'd want calling your offense, and the Steelers couldn't stop that offense. It just annoys me. But on the bright side, we are still first in the AFC North. We have a short week versus the Browns on Thursday Night Football, and there's a good chance Joel Bitonio and Myles Garrett might not play in that game, which gives us a much higher chance to win, and that makes me excited. Now, we got a Ravens fan in the room. They had a wonderful week, didn't they? What a win they had.
No, we did not have a win.
Oh, you didn't? What happened?
In short, we choked very hard. I think we choked harder than any game in Ravens history. Honestly, we had so many.
I beg to differ. Y'all did blow a 28-0 lead to us at least twice that I do remember in my lifetime. So let that one sink in. There was a game you had us dead to rights in the playoffs, and y'all sucked. But that was Joe Flacco. This was not Lamar Jackson.
Points that we lost to you guys with. It was 7-35 halftime.
At one point, yeah.
It was 7:35 at halftime.
Yeah.
And we lost by the same amount. And we had a touchdown run off kickoff. We had
102 yards, by the way.
Yeah. A massive touchdown to start the game. We had 2
75-yarder to Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, we had 2 massive.
And I think Lamar had a 79-yard run.
Yeah,
So the odds of you winning a game when you have 3 touchdowns like that, I'd like to let that be known. If my math was correct, because I did a report on this at one point, it's 98, 99%. So how did y'all lose?
I'm gonna be honest. In the second half, we did not cover Hill, Waddle at all. We had a few picks on Tua, um, but we just could not cover Hill and Waddle like whatsoever. Hill was out for like approximately 2 seconds with a cramp in like the third quarter, I think. And then he was back 2 seconds later and was catch the ball for like some crazy gain. And really t- to show the like efficiency of Hill and Waddle alone, I think there were literally 2 passes in total over 10 or like over 20 meters or 20 yards, whatever. Two passes on the entire side. 2 complete passes on the entire side of the Dolphins this past weekend. 2. And the Ravens had like a bunch more than that. And
What happens when you got 2
into
Lambos on the outside versus 2 washed corners that y'all have on your roster? I love Marlon Humphrey, but Marlon Humphrey got exposed.
I don't know. We just did nothing for half a game, and it really feels bad. Um, I don't know if we got overconfident or what happened going into second half 35-7, but we choked massively.
And
But I'd love to hear it from a Dolphin supporter's point of view, Micah.
hold on. One last thing on the Ravens. Lamar Jackson also had like a career day. Like he broke a record. I believe it was like a record held by Michael Vick or something, like most games with 100 yards. So I can't remember exactly what the record was, but like he set some massive history that will not be talked about because this became the Tua comeback, like the Tua coming out party, which was just impressive. But Micah, your thoughts on the Dolphins?
Yeah, no, I was literally just sitting over here smiling because it was a wild ride for me as a fan. Like it really was because so I didn't watch the game fully. I was just kind of hanging out with family. Some family issues were going on, so I was constantly looking at my phone the entire time. And as soon as I saw the replay of the full run back, I was like, "This is gonna be a rough day." I think I texted you that too. Yeah, I texted you right off the bat. I was like, "This is gonna be a rough game for us." So it was interesting to start off with, but like as it went on, I don't know. It was stressful the entire time. And then I remember texting I texted Tyler. I was like, "Nah, it's over. It's the fourth quarter. Like there's no way that we can come back."
Well, I texted you at halftime. I texted you at halftime. I was like, or whatever. Or no, it was third. I think it was actually third. It was
It
like
was at the end of third quarter.
it was at the end of third, and I was like, and we were sitting still pretty good. It was like 17-35, and I was trying to be nice. I was like, "Oh no, you guys still got a shot." And he was like, "Oh, I don't want to hear it." And I was like, "No, really." And me mainly joking, but no, apparently you had every shot in the world because you guys pulled it off. So I don't know.
Yeah, I was so depressed. I was like, "This is it. Like this is gonna be our first loss." I thought this was gonna be, like I thought it was gonna be close, but I thought we were for sure gonna have it. And then like out of nowhere, I just get this text from you. It's like, "Dude, look at the score." I'm like, "No way." I like look back down at my phone, and there it is. What is it? 42-35? That was the final. I was like, "No way." We just came back with 21 points or whatever it was. So I was ecstatic. So as a fan, like that was really fun to watch. I didn't really keep up with it as much as I wanted to because some stuff was going on, but like it was interesting. I went back and watched some highlights. The Dolphins kind of looked like they weren't defensively. They did not look like they did against the Patriots at all. And then offensively, Tua just could not connect with Hill or Waddle at the very beginning. Waddle was still decent, but like he just could not connect with either one of those. So some stuff was just going on, and I don't know what was happening, but I mean it clicked in the fourth quarter, obviously. So it was fun.
Yeah, and last week you called for the Dolphins to make sure they got the ball to Waddle more. And like in that fourth quarter when the ball was finally distributed correctly, like we kind of saw like exactly what the Dolphins could be like when you actually like decide to just go full throttle, like open it up to both those boys because they're so fast. And like Mike McDaniel said that there was I believe it was he called it an effort play, which every team with a fast guy like that kind of has. And they lined up like Hill on the outside left hand side where it was just Hill, and they took trips over there. It was a 4-by-1 set, so they had a running back next to Tua on the right hand side of Tua with 3 wide receivers on the right hand side, and those guys were decoys. So was the running back. The only route on that play that was meant to be run was Hill straight down the field. And it literally, I believe it was either 48-yard touchdown or it was a 60-yard touchdown. Massive play though. And like the Chiefs run that kind of similar thing, but when they did it, they used to do it with Travis Kelce where Hill was, and they used to put Hill on this side so that they had Hill to bail him out. But like it was an impressive performance by the Dolphins, and a guy that's not getting the love he deserves, especially in an offense like with the Dolphins kind of offense. The fullback Alec Ingold was making plays that do not show up in the stat sheet. He really contributed to that win a lot. But like this is the game that Dolphins fans could finally look at and be like, all right, Tua proved he can be a franchise guy, which you have to feel ecstatic about.
Yeah, like looking at the game, it really showed that the Dolphins can be a fourth quarter team, and like that's key to winning games. Like if you're gonna win a game, it's all or nothing in the fourth quarter. Like yeah, you can take off in the first 3 quarters, but I mean it really comes down to the fourth quarter. Like it really showed against the Ravens. So it was fun.
Like honestly, I think the only real advantage we had was getting 2 really nice interceptions in the first half. And that really like I don't want to say we got lucky because Tua learned that he could not throw the way he was throwing it before. Which to see that kind of growth like middle of a game, it's kind of really cool. And Ingles, like watching the game, I was infuriated because he just like every time they got the ball, it was just an open lane. And then whenever I saw who was blocking the guy that was trying to get into that lane, it was always Ingles. Almost like basically almost always every single play was Ingles. And it was actually insane. But yeah, honestly, we were a bit faster on some of the passes, but I just think we got very fortunate with those 2 interceptions, honestly.
Nothing is going to be more impressive than when those 2 teams actually have to play. Like the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins, because the Bills look like the best team in football. And like what we saw from the Dolphins this weekend is like they can compete. Because we saw on Monday Night Football last night, the Bills are something else. Like if anybody that watched that game they manhandled the Titans throughout. So like I'm very much looking forward to when the Bills and Dolphins have to play. But the Dolphins very much impressed me. Mike McDaniel said it in his post-game press conference that he was telling the guys leading up to the week that he said at week 1 they led the whole game and that was exciting, but he wanted to see how the team would respond when they were down and adversity was in their face. And he said they took it maybe just a little bit too seriously by going down that big. But he said they were impressed with how they turned it around. Maybe next time, just don't give him a heart attack. He's one of the funniest people on the planet. I love Mike McDaniel. His press conferences are must-watch TV.
Don't tell him that, Mike. What the heck? They took that way too seriously. I didn't see that. That's hilarious, actually. That's awesome. Yeah, don't tell him stupid stuff like that. Like your team can play good. I'm disappointed in Mike.
But this weekend, we saw a miraculous comeback in that game. We also saw something that I didn't know actually could happen. Somehow the Dallas Cowboys pulled out a win versus the Cincinnati Bengals. I have no idea how. We have a Cowboys fan in the room, and Nate. He's probably going to go full Cowboy if I had to guess, but that's what Cowboys fans do. Nate, how did you feel about the Cowboys win? And I'm glad you didn't have to drink bleach this week.
I didn't have to drink the bleach, but I had the cup ready. Before the game, I had the cup ready. And then I started watching. I'm like, dang, these boys can play. I forgot that I was a believer. You know, I was non-believing for a second. Then I'm like, wait, I'm a Cowboys fan. So I threw out the bleach, drank some barbecue sauce, watched the game, and man, I forgot how much dogs we have on that team. Brett Maher, dog. Micah Parsons, dog. Trayvon Diggs, dog. Man,
Cooper Rush,
Cooper-
dog.
Cooper Rush is a dog. Nick Foles 2.0. He's taking us to the Super Bowl. I'm telling you right now.
Let's get back to reality here.
You're just a non-believer, man. I'm telling you. Once you've seen the light, you can never go back.
Y'all Cowboys fans are something else. I don't even have anything to say. Like, I have literally no comment to like that entire spiel. I'm glad y'all won, but like, I have more questions about the Bengals after that game than I do anything about the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's because Micah Parsons. That's the only question. That's the answer to the Joe Burrow question. Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs. You know, Trayvon Diggs says you couldn't cover. I think he allowed 14 yards, Justin Jefferson, on coverage. 3 receptions, 14 yards when he was guarding Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, my fantasy team felt that, like, because I have Jamar Chase on my fantasy team, and it was very disappointing day out of that guy. I mean, to the point where he probably caused my entire team to lose. The whole team didn't play good, but like, it's whatever. I'm cool with it, but listen, Micah Parsons is an animal. He absolutely tore up, and what's funny is the guy he had to tear up in that game, he's faced often, Lael Collins. And the Bengals have a real issue. I thought the Cowboys were going to have a real issue, but the drop-off from Dak Prescott to Cooper Rush did not seem like a real thing. Like, honestly, for real, like, without, like, take the bias out of it, do the Cowboys actually have a shot to, like, maybe make it to the playoffs or win the NFC East?
I'm a Cowboys fan. I don't have a bias. I speak the truth and I speak facts. That's what we do over here. And so, yes, the Cowboys are going to win the NFC East. Yes, the Cowboys are going to go win the NFC. Yes, the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. We don't have no bias. I just speak facts, my friend.
I just have a little bit to add on you. You are not first in the AFC anymore.
First in the AFC North.
No. Really?
Steelers are first in the AFC North.
Oh,
We will still be first after Thursday night
okay.
because we will get another win, even
mind.
though Mitch probably.
I was thinking something
Yeah.
else. But you are fourth in your division. How do you explain that? Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Washington's pretty terrible. I feel like Washington's definitely got to be fourth.
Yeah, you're fourth in the NFC East.
According to what?
The NFL standings. I literally
Yeah, that
looking
can't
at
be
it right
correct.
now. I
Oh,
literally looked it up.
Oh, that is correct, actually.
The Cowboys are fourth.
Hey,
It's
lot
18, my friend.
can only go up, right?
Hey, did the Eagles beat Joey B? Did the Eagles beat Evan McPherson? Did the Commanders beat Evan McPherson?
I mean, they're 2-0 right now.
So, who they beat?
They
They
beat
beat
the,
nobody.
Guys spitting facts right now.
I'm telling you right now. Dallas Cowboys beat Joe Burrow. They made a Super Bowl. Whoever those other guys played, they didn't make no Super Bowl. So, you know.
I mean, you had one guy that's really making the Bengals.
Nah. Justin Jefferson? Joe Burrow? That young, I don't know his name. What's the cold kicker's name? I just said
Evan McPherson,
The
Money
kicker-
McPherson.
but the-
I don't know. Let's just pull this train back right on tracks. All right. Right. It's tough to take a Cowboy fan seriously sometimes. You know. We're just gonna bounce around the NFL though. I'll do like a quick 15, 20 seconds on every NFL team so that way, for the people that did reach out to me and say, this isn't around the NFL segment because you only talked about 4 teams. You're correct. I'll talk about all 32 today. How's that sound? All right, so we'll start with we're going alphabetical order. We'll hit the Arizona Cardinals. They looked average. With a comeback win they had. When that team gets fully healthy and gets DeAndre Hopkins back and Watt's playing really well, I think they're going to be a solid team and could possibly even make a run maybe to the playoffs, depending upon when a Call of Duty actually releases. Then moving on to the Atlanta Falcons, they're more competitive than I thought they'd be, but at the same time, don't really know how I feel about them. I still think they're a pretty terrible team, and water will find its level, and they will continue to be bad. After that, we have the Buffalo Bills, and they're absolutely the team to beat in all of the NFL. They proved it last night. They proved it in week 1. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to have an answer for Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs, and that defense is extremely impressive as well. And then moving on from them, the Carolina Panthers. Matt Rule will probably not finish the season as the Panthers head coach, to be honest with you. Ben McAdoo should also be fired. Baker Mayfield, definitely not the quarterback of the future for them. They have a lot of questions, but they have an owner with a lot of money who is not afraid to continue to throw darts at the dartboard until they figure it out. So, Panthers fans, at least you have an owner with a lot of money, because outside of that, you have really nothing to be excited about. The Chicago Bears, I don't understand what they're doing, because I understand week 1 they did play in a downpour and the field was literally a river, but, well, actually the field was probably an extension of the Great Lake, one of the Great Lakes itself. But Justin Fields has thrown the ball the least amount of times out of every quarterback in the NFL. He has the least amount of passing yards as every quarterback in the NFL. They have a completely bare bones roster with no name talent all across the board. They're completely wasting Justin Fields. He was a first-round pick. I'm not fully sure what they're doing, but hey, the Bears are the Bears. They're going to continue to be bad until they actually move out of Chicago into Arlington Park. The Cincinnati Bengals, what is going on? You can't protect Joe Burrow. He's on pace to be the most sacked quarterback in probably NFL history at this point. There's no way that if this continues, Joe Burrow is going to finish the season. And without Joe Burrow, quarterback in that team, they literally have no chance, because I do believe their backups, Ryan Finley, definitely a downgrade from Joe Burrow. Now, I did expect Burrow to take a step back this year, just strictly because last year Burrow threw into some of the tightest windows possible and was getting lucky. This year, that's not happening. He's turning the ball over. People know he's going to force it to his buddy Jamar Chase. He needs to spread the ball a little bit more. The offense needs to find its way. There's also a good chance Zach Taylor is just not a good football head coach, and last year was a fluke. And the Bengals are the Bengals. Just leave it at that. The Cleveland Browns. This is a team that the Browns are the Browns. They made history for the first time in like 2,000-something games. A 13-point plus lead was blown with 2 minutes left to go in the game. The only other team that has done that since then was in 2002, and it was also the Cleveland Browns. So that tells you everything you need to know about the Browns. They haven't gone 2-0 since, I think, 1991, the longest drought in NFL history. That'll probably continue. I mean, I don't really believe in Kevin Stefanski all that much, but I'm a Steelers fan, so like my bias is definitely there. The Denver Broncos. Russell Wilson's supposedly using the same hand signals that he used in Seattle, according to Tyler Lockett. The entire place in Mile High, I don't think it's called that no more, but I'm going to call it that anyways. They were chanting the play clock so that the offense would actually snap the ball on time. They paid this quarterback $160 million, and the fans are letting the quarterback know when he needs to snap the ball. I'm not impressed. And the head coach, not impressed with his decision-making either. I understand being a first-time head coach is tough, but Nathaniel Hackett was at Green Bay where Matt LaFleur called the majority of the plays. We need to stop hiring guys just based on their play-calling ability, and we need to hire them based on their actual coaching ability. No offense to Nathaniel Hackett. I wasn't a big fan of the hire anyways. I thought if they landed Hackett, they could have got Rodgers. They got Russell Wilson, which is, in my opinion, compared to Rodgers, is a massive downgrade because I think he's on the back nine of his career. And their offensive line is all right. But, like, again, I don't have a lot of faith in the Broncos. I don't think they're a playoff team at the state they're currently in. After them, we have the Detroit Lions, who have very much impressed me, but they haven't really played anybody, and they beat the life out of the Commanders. I love Dan Campbell. I think Jared Goff has really improved as a quarterback, and the hate he gets is completely undeserved. I think the Lions could actually have a chance to sneak into the playoffs this year in a weak NFC. The Green Bay Packers, no receivers, no problem for Aaron Rodgers. He'll just give the ball to A.J. Dillon as much as he can. Not A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. 28-33. Very impressive win versus the Bears. He's Aaron Rodgers, so we'll definitely be talking about him come January. Whether it be for MVP, they're in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. The Houston Texans, terrible franchise, tough to watch. Love Davis, Dougie Mills, but they're not a fun team to watch whatsoever. They couldn't beat the Broncos when the Broncos can only score 16 points. I understand the Broncos have a solid defense, but it's still, it was a tough game to watch for both sides. The Texans have zero intrigue for me, and yeah, it's just tough for me to want to follow the Texans. The Indianapolis Colts may be the most disappointing team in all of football right now. They started 0-2 and couldn't even score a single point versus Jacksonville this past week. They keep throwing darts at the dartboard for the quarterback position. Jacoby Brissett, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Andrew Luck didn't work. Like, it's a shame, but I think Frank Reich's going to lose his job over all of this. I mean, starting 0-2, last year they started 0-5-1. They haven't looked fantastic the last 2 years, 3 years. It hasn't been good. And with that talent on that roster that they're wasting, and maybe the best middle linebacker in the game, and Darius Leonard, one of the best slot corners in Kenny Moore, Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor, Quentin Nelson, there's too much talent on that team for them to be this bad. The Jacksonville Jaguars are impressive. I like Doug Peterson. I think Trevor Lawrence is growing, although Trevor Lawrence couldn't pump up fourth graders if he had to. I mean, his speech in week 1 was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. But I like the Jaguars' potential this year. I think they could build on this and maybe have 7 or 8 wins. The Kansas City Chiefs are the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes has proved that even without Hill, he'll be just fine. The Las Vegas Raiders, they're 0-2, but in my opinion, out of all the 0-2 teams, they have the best chance to make the playoffs. The LA Chargers, when the team's fully healthy, I believe in them. When Brandon Staley's not going on it for fourth down on their side of the field, it'll be okay. But I'm excited to see what they can do from here on out. The LA Rams, I think, are on a Super Bowl hangover right now, and Matthew Stafford has played extremely disappointing, to say the least. The Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins looked like an MVP candidate in week 1. Justin Jefferson looked like an absolute dog. And then they got completely shut down by the Eagles, and I was very impressed by the Eagles. I've got more questions about the Vikings, but it's okay. I think they'll figure it out. I don't think they're going to win their division this year just because they still have to face number 12 in Lambeau. So the New England Patriots, they got Bill Belichick. So their offense is extremely disappointing, but they're going to win games they shouldn't win and lose games that they probably should just because the roster isn't the most talented thing in the world. The Saints, Jameis Winston proved again that he, even with the LASIK eye surgery and the new weapons, that he's still Jameis Winston. He'll turn the ball over quite a bit. The New York Giants are 2-0, probably going to come second place in their division, maybe above the Cowboys. But I'm impressed by Brian Daboll. I'm impressed by this Giants roster. Daniel Jones is going to be their kryptonite, though. And then the New York Jets. And this is a team, if Zach Wilson, when he gets healthy, they got a shot, like, to really build on currently what they're doing. The AFC is going to eat itself alive. There's a lot of young, talented teams that are going to get 5 or 6 wins, and they're going to mess with the top teams, I do think. But that was around the NFL. What a fun – was that everything? Oh, geez. No, I got more teams. Jeez. The Eagles, what an impressive win last night. The 49ers lost Trey Lance. Jimmy G's back. Really had nothing else to say about the Eagles, but hey, the Italian Stallions back in the thing. They're going to make the playoffs. I'm not worried about it. The Seahawks suck. They're just trying to tank for Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. The Bucks got Brady. They're fine. I mean, Mike Evans did just get suspended, but it'll be okay. They signed Cole Beasley, the rapper, Cole Beasley. Guy can drop bars, although he did drop his COVID vaccination. The Tennessee Titans got absolutely manhandled. Derrick Henry looks like he's on the back nine of his career. I'm worried about them a lot. And the Commanders, with Carson Wentz at your quarterback, you're going to have some really good days, and you're going to have some very, very bad days. This is going to be all season for you guys. So I'll pray for you guys not to die, to be honest with you, because that's what's going to happen. That was around the NFL. About screwed that up. Let's just bounce into the headlines. I'll speed through these. Comebacks were the story of week 2. The Cardinals and the Dolphins were down by 20-plus points at one point. The Dolphins were down by 21, and teams leading by 21 points had won 711 straight games respectively. Shout out to the Ravens for absolutely butchering that. The Browns were down by 13 with 1:55 left. Like I said earlier, 2,229 consecutive games had been won with 1:55 or 2 minutes left in a game when a team is up by 13 points. 2,229 consecutive wins. The Browns were the last team to do it. They're the next team to do it. They're the Browns. Let them be. Trey Lance broke his ankle versus the Seahawks. He's out for the season. Jimmy G replaces him. And the crazy thing about Jimmy G is Jimmy G is going to get $250K for every game that he plays over 25% of the snaps. Good for him because that's 16 games that he's going to get. So guy's going to make some money this season, even though he took a massive pay cut to remain in San Francisco. Plus, he's also going to get another $100K for every game they win. And if you watched any point of that game when Jimmy G came in, it felt like the roster, the team, the fans, there was a little bit of a sigh of relief. It's like we're back to what we know, what we're comfortable with. Just an average quarterback who can win you a game. We're going to run the ball. We're going to do our thing. The 49ers are a good team with Jimmy G. They're going to continue to be a good team with Jimmy G. And he should only improve his stock as long as he can remain healthy. Buccaneers wide receiver Mike Evans. He got suspended for one game after his altercation with Marcus Lattimore. These two have had some history in the past. There was a fight in 2017. It was started by Jameis Winston after he got benched for Ryan Fitzpatrick. He snuck off onto the field and tapped Lattimore on the shoulder, mocking him after something happened. And then he was jawing with Winston, and for whatever reason, Mike Evans decided to come full throttle and drill Lattimore in the back. They fought another time prior to that in 2020. And then this past weekend, there was a dirty hit on Tom Brady. They was running their mouth, and then Evans and Lattimore absolutely hate each other. So Evans said, "This is my time to punch that guy right in the mouth." He did, and he got suspended for it. I think he wouldn't have got suspended if they didn't have this past history. But either way, the Bucs signed Cole Beasley, like I mentioned earlier, to the practice squad due to some other injuries, like Julio Jones is hurt. Chris Godwin's not the most healthy. So they just keep adding weapons, and I don't understand how the NFL keeps letting them do that. Like, what are other teams doing? Like, I understand Cole Beasley comes with some baggage. I mean, he didn't want to get vaccinated. Was very, very loud against it. But how do we let the Bucs literally sign everybody? It's starting to get annoying at this point. But, yeah, that was the headlines for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. I sped through those. So, yeah. We'll move on, though. We got other sports. We got other things to talk about. We'll bounce over to Micah here first because Micah's the golf guy. Micah, what's going on in the golf world? Any news? Anything like that?
So I just want to say shout out Cam Smith. Okay, so my guy just won a tournament, second debut in the LIV, and he just won $6 million. So shout out Cam Smith. But let's jump from the LIV. Let's forget about that whole thing for a second. And let's jump back over to the PGA because the PGA. So Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy a couple weeks ago announced that they were coming up with their own branch of golf off of the PGA. So the PGA backs this. They're going to try to do it during the off season, but it's called TGL. Now, nobody really knows what it stands for, which is kind of funny because it hasn't really been released yet. But the whole idea behind this. Wait, you got a question? Yeah. You got a question?
What did the original one stand for?
The PGA?
Yeah.
The Professional Golf Association?
My bad.
Hold up.
My bad. I was just I couldn't remember what it was.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, if you don't watch golf a lot, I guess.
So
I mean, I figured like
I don't know who does, to be honest with you.
Nobody really does. No, you're right.
It would shock you the ratings golf gets. There's a lot of old people that love golf.
Yeah, my grandpa.
They will die though.
My grandpa used to love to watch golf. Like the only person he ever watched was Tiger Woods. So, but that's actually where I'm going with this because the whole reason Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy are creating this league, it's called TGL, and it's a branch off. Tiger Woods is kind of starting his own network. It's called Tomorrow. TMWR is how it's spelled. And it's called TGL. And the whole purpose of this is it's going to be like a virtual golf during the off season. So it's like 3v3 teams is how they're going to do it. It's 15-week season. And it's really cool because Tiger Woods announced that this is going to be like Monday Night Football. You know how Monday Night Football really took off like the NFL and stuff like that? He wants it to be like that, and he wants to bring in like new viewers. He's trying to get younger viewers to come in and watch this. So like it's interesting in that aspect because like yeah, now you're getting into like the almost like the gaming side of golf. But it's going to be like he's literally building his own arena for this, right? Teams are going to come in, they're going to play a 15-week season. It's going to be crazy. Yeah, you got a question?
So is it going to be like pro golfers participating in this, or is it just going to be everyday average Joes that are just trying to play on a golf simulator? Is it like a golf simulator? Is it VR? Like, what is it? I didn't know it was like virtual. That intrigues me a lot, to be honest with you. But it also confuses the crap out of me.
So like the full thing hasn't been released yet. From the pictures that were leaked per se, like for the arena and stuff like that, it looks like it's going to be not virtual. You're not like putting a headset on, but like you're hitting into like a screen. I'm trying to why is it slipping from my head?
So it is like a golf simulator type thing.
Simulator. Yeah.
That's you can try clubs at Dick's. So I've done that before. I've tried every club and then didn't buy anything. And they hated me, and I do think I'm not allowed back in that Dick's Sporting Goods. So
I do that all the time. Like that's hilarious. I go in there and be like, yeah, I'm looking at buying this driver. In reality, I don't even have the money to buy it. But I'm just like, I just want to try it out. And I'll sit in there for like 30, 40 minutes just hitting balls. The person's watching me, giving me stats, stuff like that. And I'm like, I'll come back, maybe later and really think about this.
I forgot my wallet.
I've used that before. Use the wallet thing. Be like, my wallet's in my car. I'll be right back. Stuff like that. It's hilarious. If you ever want to play free golf, that's how you do it. Okay, that's literally how you do it.
I think I told the guy at Dick's I didn't have pockets on my shorts when I obviously had zipper pockets on my shorts. I was like, I couldn't carry my wallet. I don't have pockets. And he went, yes, you do. And I was like, oh, I do. That's crazy. And I left.
He probably thought you were like some drug addict or something. Oh, that's hilarious. So, but yeah. So that's like, it really looks like a simulator. And to answer your other question, part of that was, the reason that they're trying to like branch it off the PGA and they're trying to make it like, during the off season is they're planning on bringing like professional golfers in to do this. So as far as my understanding goes, it's not going to be like the average Joe doing this, but it could be. That would make it way more fun. So I don't know. That's interesting.
So I have a question.
Okay.
What's that stadium gonna look like? Like, I'm trying to imagine it. I just don't know how that's supposed to look.
Yeah, like it hasn't been like fully released yet, but like from the leaked pictures that have been like released, it looks sick. So it's all like dark in there with like neon lights shining everywhere. They're trying to make it like as appealing to young viewers as possible. That's like, I don't know. I get your concern with that. Like I can see maybe it going wrong, but like at the same time, you need the new generation to, the PGA banks off of views.
Yeah.
So that's really where it's coming from.
Like,
and so you can draw the new generation in.
Yeah, I get that. Like, again, not trying to like draw a very clear correlation to F1, but literally F1 does the same exact thing. So, I think that's very interesting, honestly. I'll be very intrigued to see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I did not see that coming. I'm not gonna lie.
It's really weird. Like whenever I saw that a couple weeks ago, I was like, man, I gotta tell somebody about this because this doesn't seem real. So
I literally haven't even heard of it. Like until you brought it up, haven't even heard of it. So
Really?
that's why it's impressive. It was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's been out for a couple weeks.
I had
It's-
no idea.
It's just like the whole ordeals with like the LIV, the PGA that's been going on, European tour last week. Like so many things are going on with golf right now that like I haven't had time to mention it. But like now that it's kind of calmed down this week, I wanted to mention that because it really is intriguing and like it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. It really is because I don't know. It's always dangerous when you try to reach the younger generation. It's like you really got to come out and you got to succeed, or else it's gonna go down fast.
Yeah, old people don't really know how to market to us, the younger generation, either, which is a real problem. But I'll be excited to see how it goes. Sounds really interesting, though. Like, very interesting. It's different, but it sounds really interesting. The Monday Night Football comparison is wild. Like, I know he's a billionaire, but he can say a lot of things. But that's just a kind of a dumb one.
Yeah, I'd actually kind of agree because there's you can't compare to the NFL like at all, especially the PGA, which is way down there. Like I get their athletes like get paid more than like the NFL, but like their views are nowhere near that. So it is funny. I mean, it's Tiger Woods. What do you expect? The guy says stuff out of pocket all the time. So
Honestly, as long as it goes anywhere close to the South Park rendition of a game with Tiger Woods in it, I think I will be very satisfied in watching it. For all of those that get that reference, if you don't, please
love
look it
that
up.
episode.
It is a fantastic episode. Oh yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, that's exciting. I cannot wait to check that out. Nate, he's our basketball guy. He's gonna update us on anything going around in the basketball world. There's some stuff going on, but what do you got for us, Nate?
Yeah, it's pretty much quiet, especially in the NBA scene. They're having talks of lowering the draft age. That's in discussion. Like, there's no actual movement on it yet. It's just rumors at this point.
LeBron will have that rule changed for his son. That's a guarantee. That rule will definitely change for Bronny at some point. Like that's strictly who they're changing the rule for, correct?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. But like from the reports that we're getting inside, it's just a rumor. There's been no movement or no talks of it in like the meetings, for the rule change. So it's just a rumor at this point. But outside of the NBA, we do have some news in college basketball. Monty Bates, if you don't know, he was a great high school star. Played at Memphis. Haven't heard about him in a year. Didn't have a didn't have a great season.
I think he transferred to Eastern Washington,
Yes, he did. Eastern Michigan.
Eastern Michigan. Jeez,
Eastern Michigan.
Eastern Michigan. I literally saw Eastern Michigan, Eastern Michigan Eagles in my head and said Eastern Washington for
Hey,
whatever
shout out
reason.
to Eastern Michigan for ruining my evening Saturday. I'm an Arizona State Sun Devil fan. So just shout out to them. Thank you for reminding me of my pain.
Yeah, that was an interesting night for you guys because they literally fired what's his name? Like
Herm
yeah,
Edwards on.
they fired him on the field. Did you see that video? They talked to him on the field and fired Herm Edwards on the field. That was wild.
Yeah. I mean, Ray Anderson needs to go, but I'm not a college football guy, so I'm just gonna stick to what I know. But yeah, that hurt. Just mentioning Eastern Michigan again. But Eastern Michigan star Amani Bates got caught with a gun in his car, and especially in Michigan, having a gun in your car is a big no-no. And so it was hidden underneath the seat, and obviously he was driving a car for a friend, and he didn't know that there was a gun in there. So he's facing some hard time. But that's kind of the only news that's going on basketball wise besides, international prospect stuff. So
Yeah, and the Amani Bates news is like drastically sad because like this is a guy that had so much potential and now he's probably going to just that's probably it. That's probably the last we'll see of him at this this is the highest level of basketball he'll probably ever play at. And he's never going to play like probably in college at D1 level probably ever again. I mean, it's always terrible when you hear the story like the guy gets busted and he didn't know the gun was in the car, but I'm not saying like that he probably did, but I think there's a good chance. Like if he's driving the car and it's under the seat, there's maybe a shot that he knows there's a gun in the car. But it's a shame. It's sad. It's honestly tragic because it's such a waste of talent. But And I don't even know if he made any NIL money or anything, but like it's tragic.
I think that happens with a lot of college athletes, especially. I mean, Julian Newman, he was never was a college athlete, but he was a big, big high school star. Like he had his own TV show. His dad is weird.
Yeah, but he was just openly bad at basketball though.
Yeah, no,
Like he wasn't actually that good.
no, but he was like that's just an example of a star.
Yeah, it is. It is though. Like, yeah, but it is a good example. But I think he was well overhyped,
Oh,
like by
okay.
people. He's what, like 5'9", 5'10"? He's
No,
just short dude, right?
he's like 5'2", like
Oh
5.
yeah. Okay, my bad. He's definitely shorter than what I thought.
Yeah, no,
My
like
bad.
I got like 5 inches on him.
Yikes.
Pause.
It's a good 5 inches long.
Yeah, but yeah, the thing is just with high school stars, they get all that hype, all that money in high school. But a lot of them do fizzle out. And it's just a sad thing. But it's really cool with NIL money and other money. They do get some compensation and they don't just go live on the streets after college. So I'm glad that they made that change for college, but it's just sad to see these stars not live up to their full potential.
Yeah, it's a real shame. It's a crime. Like, hate to make that pun, but like it's an honest crime that like you couldn't live up to his potential like that. But we got an F1 guy in the room. There was some stuff that happened this week in F1. Got Tyler here for that. Tyler, I don't even know how to even jump into the F1 because I know nothing about it. But what happened this week in the F1, Tyler?
Okay, so, yes, I do make mistakes from time.
You and Jared. That's so far the only people that have done that. So
Okay. I have a bit more to expound on this past race. Just why the penalties were going on and some discrepancies with the FIA. So just some issues in their decision making at Monza. In that they didn't make a decision. That was a big problem for a lot of the race with the safety car just being out for way too long. A car literally dying on the field, pulling off, and then a safety car not coming out for like anywhere near when it should have. And literally no FIA decision until the very end of the race. Also, I was wrong last episode about who owns the owns F1. It is actually not. I was thinking of something else. It's actually the head of the FIA, who is the decision maker for all the rules in F1. I got the two mixed up. That's my bad.
Is that not like a conflict of interest or no? I guess not, but like maybe it could be. Well, how do F1 people feel about that actually?
Mixed feelings. I'll say that, mixed feelings.
I had mixed feelings when you said it. So
Yeah, it's a lot of mixed feelings because there's just been a lot of weird things that have been going on with FIA decision making recently. And for many, many years it has always been skewed to the higher teams, Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes. These teams have always kind of unofficially been given nicer treatment because they've got more money. Is that a hot take? I'll let you guys decide. But as a bit of a clarification on the penalties that happened this last race at Monza, I'm sure many of you either already know or have looked into it. But Max Verstappen received 5 place penalties. He went over his ICE number, which basically, for all you guys that don't know what that is, it's an internal combustion engine. Basically, you're allowed a certain number of them for the season. If you go over that, you are basically taxed in spots on the field or starting positions. Max Verstappen was charged or set back 5. Esteban Ocon with Alpine is 5. Sergio Perez with Red Bull is 10. Valtteri Bottas with Alfa Romeo is 15. Mick Schumacher with Haas is 15. Kevin Magnussen, Haas, 15. Carlos Sainz is sent to the very back of the grid.
And this is how far they're being sent back. Like that's how many places they're being sent back. How many do you have to get to be sent to the back of the race?
Okay, for actually as Carlos Sainz as an example, he should be top 5, right? He's getting sent back to the back of the grid.
How many
Because
cars are in a race? Just for because I don't know.
I believe 20 right now. So the thing with Carlos Sainz is he had to replace an energy store, an MGUK, and a gearbox, which cost him 25 places on the grid. He's exceeded his number for the season too many times, and for that, he's literally getting. Actually, I think
They literally can't move him back further.
No, he's literally at the back. And then the same thing for Lewis Hamilton, who should also be in top 5. Mikey, you have a question?
Yeah, I want to actually ask a question. Like, that doesn't seem justifiable if you need to replace those like parts. Is that what you're saying? Like, wait, I could be totally lost right now.
No. You're right. You're right. But they are given a certain number per season. Like,
How?
you're given like 3 engines. You're given like 4 or 5 gearboxes. You're given a certain number of every single part on your car. Are actually listed parts. There's a list that they put out every single season of parts that you have a certain number of, and if it's not on that list, you can change it. You can do whatever you want to it as many times. It does not matter. Like actually, one of the big things that is actually getting, which I'll get to later on in this, is the floor spoilers on the cars for Red Bull. The way they've been making those to where like the cars have been very front heavy recently, or at the very start of the season, and they fixed it to where the airflow is now heading it back to give more weight to the rear end and get more off the back, because um it was causing too much loss in performance and front wheel locking on tight turns earlier on in the season, and that's what has actually led to a lot of Red Bull pulling forward ahead of Ferrari this season. But back to what you were saying, the parts thing on this list, they're given a certain number, and if they go over that, they are charged in locations on the field.
Is there exceptions to that? Like, I mean, like you're racing, you're gonna push those parts to like the max. So like, if they ever, like, how do they tell like how many parts they get? Is it like even like across the board?
No, for every team it is the same. But the amount per part is different. Like, say like a gearbox, you're allowed a certain number of those. Okay, I'm trying to think of something like think of a mirror, right? If a mirror comes off or a mirror breaks, if they're gonna penalty you for like replacing that every time something happens to that, that'd be stupid and you'd be justified in that. But the amount of money that goes into like a brake system or an engine or something like that, it's kind of a way to balance the field between the teams that have less of a budget and the teams that have a bigger budget, because the teams with a bigger budget could just basically get unlimited of these items and give them to their team. Like, instead, now they actually have a cap on it, whereas they are now getting penalized because they're going over this. And at the end of the day, guess who still won? Max Verstappen. Guess who's top 5? All the people that were at the very back of the like hold on. Let me actually look it up. I forget who was top 5 at Monza.
So their parts are just better. That's really what it comes down to. Like,
Yeah, the cars are literally just better. Like that's really what it comes down to.
I mean,
They'll
like you
not-
just said, Red Bull. I mean, made their car more aerodynamic. That's literally what they did. So they just offset the wheels and they made it more aerodynamic.
yeah.
So that's okay.
Uh,
Makes more sense.
yeah. It's very. They're trying. The FIA has been recently been trying to like make it more fair to the teams that just have less of a budget.
Okay.
That's a big thing that happened a few years ago actually. But
Which is completely fair because like places like Red Bull is not going to have the same amount of money as like Mercedes is going to have. Like it's just let's
well,
just be real.
we're thinking more about uh like Alfa Romeo or a Haas.
Yeah, they're loaded.
Well, no, those are those are the teams on the lower end of the spectrum.
They're loaded.
No.
Well, see, this is me not knowing anything. This is why you're here to educate us.
Yeah, no. It like honestly, the big four are Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, and probably McLaren. Probably McLaren. Because like I said before, some of the other teams are very interconnected. The lower end of the field would be like a Renault, Haas, all these different teams that have such a tiny budget for their cars. Like it's terrible. Haas has had an extremely rough history with that. If for all you guys that know, but yeah, it's just a balancing between the kind of the budgets. But that's basically what happened this past week. As just a rundown of what's happened this season, we're going to have 22 races this season. For all of you that are keeping up with it, and we have had 16 so far. And just to read off some of the wins so far and who is really in contention for the driver championship and the constructors championship, or the team's championship. Leclerc with Ferrari has had 3 first place poles. Perez with Red Bull has had 1. Carlos Sainz with Ferrari has had 1. And Max Verstappen with Red Bull has had 11. Just to put that into a sheer number of points, that is 250 points alone, for the constructors championship. No, it's not. He's an amazing driver. Yeah, it's their car is honestly insane. But yeah, we still have 6 races. Just to put it into perspective for you guys, Max Verstappen could not race for the next 4 races, come back still in the lead, win the next 2 races after that, and still come away with the drivers championship. He could literally not drive for 4 weeks, for 4 entire races, and be perfectly fine.
That's
Which
actually crazy.
he has a massive lead. He's got 100. He's actually got a 124 point lead, which is almost a 5 race lead. He's missing the 5 race lead by 1 point. But yeah, that's F1 for right now. We'll come back when really they actually have a race.
Shout out the boys for an awesome few segments there. We had it around the internet this week because there's something going on in the internet, but we're going to skip it. We'll talk about it next week just because we are trying to do a movie draft. And again, like I said last week, we're kind of cut for time. And this is something we're very excited to do. What is the best sports movie of all time? I should have asked a question on my Instagram. That's okay. That's fine. Now I'm kind of mad at myself for not doing it, but we're going to do a little snake draft again this week. We said we were going to do it last week. We kind of ran out of time. We're starting to do the same thing this week. We need to work on what time we're recording. That's kind of on me, boys. No offense. It's kind of on me, but I'll do better. I know accountability. I'll do better. But we're going to go oldest to youngest this time in this snake draft, which means I will have the first pick. Micah will have the second. Tyler will have the third. Nate will have the fourth. And then Nate gets the fifth, and so on and so forth. You guys understand. Everybody here kind of understands how a snake draft works. If you don't, you've obviously never probably played in any fantasy league whatsoever. But
You don't watch sports at all. So
yeah, that's pretty much how snake drafts kind of work. But yeah, we'll just get right into it. I have the first pick. I'm going to waste no time. With the first pick, I'm taking, and it kind of relates to what we were just talking about because I think it's a racing movie. Talladega Nights, The Legend of Ricky Bobby. It's my first pick. It's the best pick in this draft, obviously.
Good pick. That's a good pick. Better than chips and dip.
Oh my gosh, you're already bringing that up. Okay, I got a solid one. I think. I don't know. Maybe people will have a different.
If it's
opinion.
bad, we will clown you.
I'm gonna go with dodgeball for my first pick. That is I just watched that recently. It was good.
Yeah, very solid. Very solid. Yeah, he already knows mine. I might as well switch the camera now. My pick is going to be Waterboy. An iconic.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. An iconic movie, but it has to be my first pick because I knew that was on the table. I just could not leave it on the table after my first pick.
No, that was a great pick. That was my first pick. But honestly, I didn't really have another funny movie going, so I'm just gonna pick a serious movie. Out of respect, for sports movies. Not that I agree or have watched it, but out of respect, I have to pick Rudy, number 4.
You haven't watched it and you're picking it? That's a bold pick.
Hey,
But it's a great movie.
hey, it's like Jay-Z, you
I
know.
haven't watched it.
It's
You
like
need to get on
Jay-Z, you
that.
know. I don't listen to Jay-Z, but I'll respect him and say, hey, you have impact. I just don't listen to you. So, I got one more, right? And then for my second pick, actually, it's a new movie. I really like this one. Mr. Bo Cruz, Hustle, Adam Sandler. That was
I
surprisingly
actually love that movie. I actually
That
loved
was
it.
gonna be
It
my
was so
pick.
good. It was
That
such
was-
a good movie.
It was honestly, I was shocked that I was expecting it to be awful when I saw the trailer for it, and I was genuinely surprised with how good it was. I love that movie. I wasn't gonna take it because there's quite a few other movies out there, but Hustle, fantastic. If you haven't watched it, it's on Netflix. Not that we're sponsored or anything like that, but because we're not. But fantastic movie. Go check it out. The Sandman never disappoints. But Tyler, you're up with your.
My second pick is going to be another comedy. I know it's a bit of a. I don't know. It's probably I don't know. I don't know who would go for 2 comedies at once, but I'm going for the Mighty Ducks.
Solid. That's not bad
Yeah.
at all, actually.
Yeah.
That was my childhood. Not even gonna lie.
That's a
Love
lot
that
of people's childhood, and that's what I'm banking on.
There's so many really good sports movies though too. We could do 10 rounds of this and have a very solid draft. But we're only doing 4. So, Micah, you're up with the next pick.
Okay. Yeah. I think this is solid. Again, I'm kind of going off of movies that I recently watched and liked, but I'm going with a comedy as well. Semi-Pro. Love that movie. I mean, it's it's not the best sports movie, but if you're going for a comedy, that's up there. Yes. It's one of my favorites by far for comedy wise.
You could, as someone in this draft, you could literally go Will Ferrell movies down the line and probably win this entire thing, which is crazy. It's just crazy. That was actually my pick, so I don't actually know where to go.
Let's go.
I'm a little lost, actually.
Oh.
I'm kind of baffled. I wasn't expecting it. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with White Men Can't Jump.
Beautiful
That's
pick.
really good.
Beautiful pick right there. That was a good one.
Okay. I'm I'm gonna have to go with one that like I absolutely love, and just because I'm a golf guy, it's Happy Gilmore. Like I mean, I love that movie. It's not just because I'm a golf guy, but like that was one of my first movies I saw of Adam Sandler. So it really got me into that. I love that. I think that was your next pick, wasn't it, Tyler? Oh, that wasn't? Oh, your face was so disappointed. So
I was up. That pick's rescinded.
no.
Oh wait,
You
no,
were
it
up?
was
You
up.
skipped me.
You
It
sent
goes
it to
back to me.
me.
No, my bad. I screwed up. I'll let you keep. I won't take it. I'll let you
Didn't you
have
send
it.
that to me, or did I
I
cut you
screwed up.
The play is under official review.
I screwed up, but I'll let you keep it. I will let you keep it. Now I don't know where to go. But that's okay.
Was
I'll
that your
figure it
other
out.
movie that you're gonna do?
Yeah, but I screwed up. I
Oh.
screwed up and I sent it to you when it was actually my pick. So that's on
I-
me. But I'll let you keep it. What'd you say? Happy Gilmore? Jeez. I'm an
Happy
idiot.
Gilmore.
Yeah, where would I go here? I have no
Like a
idea.
plethora of football movies. You
I have
can
no idea.
This
I'll
draft-
go out Remember the Titans, obviously.
Okay.
Okay, so you're
How's that still on the board?
Uh,
Number one, how's that still on
I
the
don't
board?
know. I don't know. No one wants it, clearly, except for you.
It's feeling like a comedy draft at this point. I don't know.
It
If
kind
we're
of is,
taking-
yeah.
Oh,
The
I'm gonna-
disrespect,
Well, I'm
sir.
going to come out of left field with this next one.
Denzel Washington would make you run thousands of gassers for what you just said, okay? He'd make you run to Gettysburg and back. You stand no chance.
My next pick is going to be a bit more of a serious one. Not much of a comedy. It is Rocky.
That's where I was gonna go. Dang it, everybody's stealing my picks.
That's really good. Wait, don't we only get 3 picks?
4.
Oh, we get 4. Oh, I
Yeah.
better start looking.
This is
I
my
don't
third
get
pick.
fully prepared.
Rocky, an American staple. Not just a sports staple, an American staple. Beat back the Rooskies. And yeah, Nate, your turn.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I'm half Mexican, so I think got to shout out to the culture. We're talking sports movies. It's not a ball, but it's running. That's what we do over there. McFarland USA. That's pretty high, but that was a great movie, and it's got to be up there for me. So I'm gonna take it before someone else does.
It's okay. I don't think anybody in this room is going to draft it because I honestly forgot it was a movie until right now when you mentioned it. What a fantastic movie. But go on.
Hey, it was a snake draft, so I was safe either way.
Yeah. It's a fantastic movie and a great pick. I forgot it existed until you just mentioned it. Probably going to watch it right after this is over.
Oh yeah. And then finally, I think I'm gonna go with another serious movie, just because it's a great, great sports movie. I don't know how it's still on the board. Miracle. USA Hockey. Rush beats the national Russian team. Come on, man. That movie is beautiful. Probably top, even people rank it. That's a top sports movie. So I'm surprised it lasted that long. So I think I did well. Throw it back to Tyler over there.
I would just like to say that I've butchered this draft, I think. But go on. I think I've butchered it. Left Miracle on the board, and I took White Men Can't Jump.
Well, you'll just
a good one,
be left unvoted and alone like last draft.
Hey, white man can't draft either, apparently.
Oh. My next
Even where are you going?
for my last pick, I'm gonna do it. It's like a semi-comedy, semi-serious. It ends kind of sad. Ford v Ferrari, which has the iconic line about the 7,000 RPM. Yeah. Something happens at 7,000 RPMs. The world just fades.
We'll leave it at that. It's a great line. Family-friendly show here, though.
It's a family-friendly line. Pretty
Is
sure.
it?
Yeah.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
you're right. Maybe you're right.
You didn't watch the movie, did you?
I did actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I've only watched it once because
Oh.
I honestly forgot it was a sports movie. Sports movie category is very encompassing.
It
I
is.
forget.
Micah.
Okay, yeah. I did not come prepared for 4. I came prepared for 3, so I had to find one real fast. And I hope this doesn't like ruin my draft. I was gonna make a joke about Airbud. I was gonna like throw that out there at first and be like, take that. That's not my pick, but I was gonna make a joke about that.
I thought you was like, I thought for a second you actually were about to take Air Bud.
No,
Oh,
no. I was gonna make a joke, but no. My actual pick is Here Comes the Boom. I love that movie. I'm a comedy guy. That's like the only movies I watch is comedy. So, no, that's solid. Kevin James. I mean, you can't go wrong with him. I've been on like a little, Kevin James move recently. So,
all right. With my final pick to wrap up the snake draft, I just recently got back into a series based off of this movie. Tyler knows exactly where I'm going. He knows exactly where I'm going. The 1984 version of Karate Kid with Ralph Macchio. Fantastic film. Fantastic trilogy. I think I just shocked everybody in the room. Nobody expected me to take that movie, I think. But
Danielson.
I love Karate Kid. One of my favorite films of all time. And I am getting looked at like I'm a crazy person for
It
drafting
has the best quotes ever.
Are we considering martial
Karate
arts
Kid's a sport, dude.
karate?
Hold up, wait. You're saying that that's not a sport?
But
As a-
like,
We considered running a sport. Just
As a sports-
FYI. So
True. As a sports management major, like that's like
I'm
how
not
do you
saying
not
no. I'm
know?
not saying it's not a sport.
okay.
I just think it's an interesting pick. That's all.
I thought you were talking about
It's
Friday Night
barely about-
Lights.
It's actually like barely about karate.
Like when you said series, I got back into a series. I'm like, oh, he's talking about Friday Night Lights. That was out of the blue, man.
You blew it.
Wow.
You straight up blew it.
Wow.
I do not care what you guys think. I think it's a great draft for me. We'll write it down.
He thinks
I
so.
won this draft.
Emphasis on he thinks so.
I mean, he has like some of the best quotes though.
Yeah,
I
remember the
wouldn't say
Titans.
they're up there for like sports movies, but he's got some of the best quotes. Come on, wax on, wax off.
I think the movie
Everybody-
is
Shake and bake, baby.
I've got Rocky. I've got Ford v Ferrari. I've got Waterboy.
That's true.
I've got-
Those are iconic.
These are all so quoted.
I've never heard anybody quote Ford versus Ferrari.
No, I haven't actually.
You guys,
I
you're telling me none of you have seen that trend on Instagram. Not a single one of you has seen that trend. That the trend where they use that audio
For what?
as like a car. You
I
obviously
need-
none of you-
I don't need
We're not car people, though.
okay.
We're not following the right people on Instagram and TikTok.
It is. It's a big thing. It's a big. I promise it's a big thing, guys. Please believe me. It's a big thing. I
It's better
promise.
than the chips, so just saying the queso. It's a lot better than that draft.
Hey, you didn't come in last.
Listen, I would like to say that I came in last. So like, yeah, I thought mine was solid.
Why was I getting clowned when you got like 4?
I
Yeah.
literally got the least amount. Pizza rolls. Come on, people. Pizza rolls. I am so upset. I cannot believe I was last.
Yeah, according to the listeners, your bracket for the food draft was dog water. So, no offense.
Absolutely sucked.
No offense. No offense. Everybody doubled, if not 4 times you in votes. I mean, I felt bad.
Yeah.
I don't even think
thought mine was solid.
you were like, you voted for yourself, which I respect because I did, Nate did, Tyler did, but like you were 25% of your votes.
Frick. That's
Wow.
That's
Wow.
come on, people. Help me out. Help me out on this next vote.
Yeah, I
Please.
don't want to hear you talking. You dwarfed all of us completely
Straight
in
back.
that entire draft.
Hey,
Like you had all of ours combined and more.
it's wings, man. You can't beat wings.
I had ribs, man.
That's okay. I'll beat you guys this week. It's been
No,
a
you're not.
fantastic
You're
draft,
literally
though.
not gonna win.
Please
Yeah,
vote
I-
for me. Out of
What are you
charity.
talking about? Everybody's gonna see Talladega Nights and remember the Titans and be like, "Oh, this guy won the draft." Look at this guy. He knows how to draft movies.
No, I simply disagree.
Well, you're wrong, but that's okay.
Okay, we'll see. We'll let the people decide.
The people will decide.
People will decide.
The people will decide. This is how it will work every single week. We will have quite a few more snake drafts here in the future. October is about to roll around. We will have a very heated Halloween movie draft. We will have a very heated Halloween candy draft, which I'm going to lay down the rules now for the Halloween candy.
Hey.
The first round for the Halloween candy has to be a regular Halloween candy. It cannot just be a basic
Only
candy
available
you
on
can get.
Halloween. Only available on Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, for the rules for that, and I'm doing this on camera so we're all very clear. First round has to be a Halloween candy that you can only buy around Halloween. And then after that, everything's fair game. You can literally just take full-size candy bars, whatever you like. But yeah,
Like candy corn would be like a Halloween thing. Or?
candy corn is Halloween, yes.
Okay.
If it's like a fall-ish candy, it counts.
Dang. I want that first pick.
As a fat kid, I better
You have first pick. You're the youngest. We started with the youngest this week. It's gonna go back to the youngest, right?
For the Halloween candy, we're going to draw our names out of a hat.
Okay.
Live on the show. Live
Okay.
on the show.
I'm down.
For the actually for the rest of the drafts, I think
I'm down for that.
yeah, I think it'll be more fun that way for us because we'll get to react to see who gets screwed over with like the fourth pick in that Halloween candy draft and can't decide on a
Like
thing.
you, every single pick except for your first one. I'm sorry. I'll just.
lucky. I think
We're gonna
that's-
end it here. It's been a fantastic episode. Thank you guys for everything. You guys have actually I've honestly been impressed with the response we've gotten from this. I think people are a big fan of it. We're a big fan of it. We thank every single one of you that listen. We love you guys. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Share it with a friend. Share it with somebody that likes sports. Share it with somebody that like this type of content. Help us continue to grow. We love you guys. We appreciate it. We just hope you have a great week. Enjoy the NFL this weekend. Enjoy F1. Is there an F1 race this weekend? Probably, right? Maybe.
No, I don't think
No.
so.
Okay. So I guess we can enjoy an F1 race this weekend.
Sunday was actually supposed to be the Russia race. So
Shout out Putin. No free shout outs, but shout out Putin for being a scumbag. Can probably fight. We had an interesting debate before the show. We'll leave it for another episode in the future, but I had an interesting take on Putin that maybe we'll give you next week. Stick around for that. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.